it's available for you. I will discuss this at length later, but I've been promising to do something about Luther, so I just want to introduce this. Luther did believe that serious marital problems would better be solved by polygamy than by divorce. Of paramount concern for Luther was that scandal must be avoided when exercising Christian freedom, the Christian freedom to have multiple wives. And therefore, polygamy should be kept secret from society. And if necessary, a lie should be told to conceal it. Luther recommended a good, strong lie for the good of the church. Great, that sounds very Christian to me. I mean, hey, am I wrong? Okay, it sounds really, really Christian to me. Welcome everyone, and for those who don't know, I do research, but with sarcasm, so yeah, I know, because last time I did a stream, I spoke about Hitler, and I said Hitler would never tell a lie. Hitler never lied. Someone thought, Lloyd, do you actually mean that? Oh my god, how can you say that? I was like, dude, don't you recognize sarcasm when you hear it? Yes, Gabriel P. Gervais, Luther did say that you should tell a lie. He recommended lying. This is fact. As far as I know, from the sources I've read, Luther recommended lying. God wouldn't mind if you lie. It's okay if, as long as it's for the good of the church, it's okay to lie. Now, I know a religion founded by a guy with a name that starts with an M. Oh my gosh, what's his name? It's got a little crescent and a star. Yeah, crescent and a star. And they have made lying legal. So the Council of Trent's view on polygamy is that it is not lawful for Christians to have several wives at the same time. And this is forbidden by divine law. It also forbade concubines. Sorry, I've got a couple of typos here. I rushed this out. Yeah, his servant is just a white lie. Well, I mean, this is not just white lying, and you're probably just being tongue-in-cheek there, but understand that even under the Jewish law, they state that, or there's a Jewish saying that says, a half-truth is a whole lie, right? So let's see. Dreaming says, I find your sarcasm hilarious. Thank you. So, Ortho Christos, thank you. Once more, I've landed on a channel with reason and logic. The moon god has abandoned me. Yeah, servant, I'm being sarcastic. Well, yeah, great. Good stuff. Keep it up. So, if anyone says that it is lawful for Christians to have several wives at the same time, and that it is not forbidden by any divine law, let him be anathema. And they appeal to Matthew 19, verse 4 or 5 or 6 here. For this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and the two, shall be one flesh. Okay, so this is what the Council of Trent, the Catholic Council, refers to. And this is what Martin Chemnitz above would also agree with. So the Council's doctrine on the sacrament of matrimony states that Christians who attempt to introduce or defend polygamy in the New Testament are rightly condemned. Can you guys read the text? I do try to make the text large, so let me make it larger just to make it easier for you guys who are on cell phones, because I'm using very large screens. I've got a screen next to me that's some distance away. Luther concluded that it was neither commanded nor forbidden by any divine law for Christians to have several wives at the same time. So it's not commanded, it's not forbidden. He also found that polygamous marriages were true marriages that created one flesh unions. So a polygamous marriage is a true marriage that creates one flesh union, which is him trying to say that this is the equivalent of what Matthew says in Matthew 19, verse 4 or 5 or 6, right? So he concluded that polygamous marriages were legal, holy, approved by God, and not sinful, right? Thaddeus, do you have any thoughts on this? I mean, you've got much better theological knowledge than I do. So any thoughts? Anyone? Any thoughts so far? He married a nun. So Nicodemus, he married a nun. He also made her an ex-nun. And in fact, apparently he was having a multi-partner relationship. So there's a story, yeah, so let's just say Luther himself was practicing a little bit of, if not being married to multiple people, let's just say he wasn't exactly keeping it, just between him and one woman, right? So, so he concluded that polygamous marriages were legal, holy, approved by God, and not sinful. And this is according to this text here, okay? So you guys are welcome to download it, read it for yourselves, okay? And see exactly what it says. This is using the quotes of Luther. Okay, so I'm going to go here to the left, and you'll see here. So these are the quotes here, okay? And so the law, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, so these are the quotes from Luther. And this is what he uses as his justification. So this is all in the text. So now, although Luther supposedly, and I say supposedly, okay, found polygamy personally repugnant, it says right now, whether he did or not, I'm not sure yet. I haven't delved that deep. He refused to claim scriptural authority for his personal attitude, right, for his views on the topic, by claiming that Scripture gave an absolute prohibition. So Luther would not state that Scripture absolutely prohibited polygamy. He said, well, I don't like it. I think it's, not the norm, but Scripture doesn't really. Like, okay, thanks, Luther. Reasoned Answer says, the Bible teachings that one spouse is ideal. I think it might be an overstatement to say polygamy is anathema, however it was allowed by God despite not being the ideal. Yeah, but then one has to ask, why is it forbidden under Western law, right? Why is it considered immoral? What changed? 2, under what covenant was that? So if you look at Lamech, let's say, okay, you look at the time, you look at the place, you look at the law of God at the time. Was it under the law of Moses? Was it under the law of Noah? Was it under the law of something else? Which covenant was that under? We are under a new covenant, right? Are we still living in 3000 BC? Are we still living under the laws of Moses or Noah or someone else? So this is a different covenant, different time, right? And also, last I checked, we're not Jews, right? Unless you're a Jew, you're not a Jew. Unless you're a Jew, you're, unless you're, you know what I'm saying. You know the thing. Okay? So now, Luther's teaching on polygamy is a source of embarrassment to modern Lutherans and Protestants. I've seen this for myself, right? Now, oddly, Luther's best buddy, Melanchthon, agreed with Luther's teaching about polygamy. He even suggested that it is not prohibited by divine law. Dragon, very welcome. Good to see you. Brandon Dry, goeienaand oom. Brandon hier van Suid-Afrika. Baie goed, Brandon. Ja, goed om jou hier te sien. Baie dankie dat jy hier by ons kuier. Okay, let's see if I've missed anything. Is this the Luther that was considering leaving out James's epistle? It makes sense he would love his Mohammedan ideas about polygamy. Now, Author Christus, you actually have a point. Luther says, now look, I'll state this. Now, this is, I've been spending years looking at Luther, not in depth yet, but I have been collecting material and I have been going through this. Luther seems to have his Meccan period and his Medinan period. Okay, his early period, his late period. And the things that he says, very often apologists will appeal to Luther's early statements. Okay, and say, well, Luther said that. Except 5 years later, Luther said something completely contradictory. Right? So either Luther is schizophrenic or Luther changed his mind. Right? And if you look at, just like Muhammad had a Meccan period, Medinan period, Luther had a Meccan period in his Medinan period.